Your mindset is everything. It can make you or break you. Be aware of your thoughts, be open for new ideas, and most importantly, stay positive. Hey there, Tamir from Fibonacci-Traders.com here with the daily market recap. Please hit the like, subscribe, share with friends, and without any further ado, let's see the charts. Tesla after earnings coming down almost 10%, breaking below the 165. And if you follow me on Twitter and you saw previous videos in the past few weeks or so, you know we have talked about this level of the 165 as a very important level of support. Tesla breaking down and under, another day of 10% to the downside, and this gap will get filled. On the positive side, now we have a gap to the upside. Let's see where Tesla is taking us. In my opinion, this gap will get filled sooner than we expected. SPY, daily, trend line, very tough resistance together with the 416. A week or so, bulls of SPY having tough time to break up above and closing above this area. Doji of the 410. Indecision in the market on the SPY. If we look at the weekly, we also can see a doji on the weekly, and the doji is the most important signal in candlestick analysis of indecision. And if the market cannot decide, we surely cannot decide. Retracement below 410 towards 405. 405 will break to the downside. We have all the levels and this gap to keep our eyes on. Long continuation above 416. QQQ since end of March, bouncing in a price range of $8, very tight price range on the Qs. Retracement short below 313 towards this gap over here. Long continuation above the 321 until Qs will not break to the downside or to the upside from this range. Sit on hands and wait and let price show you the way. IWM 179, 178, very tough resistance. If bulls will give up on this area, they will go down, price will go down towards the 174, and 170 will get retested once again. Dow Jones, another great example of why trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. And as we can see, this red trend line together with the 340 area, very tough resistance for the bulls. And if bulls will give up on this area, 335 needs to hold. Otherwise, 331 and maybe going close this gap at the 330. VIX inside day. Doji, we might get some kind of a bounce towards the 20 area, the 1840 or the 20. We can just put some lines over here. Now we have this support over here breaking down and under. It's going to this white trend line. Bounce 1840 to the upside and above it back to the 20. Bitcoin, after bulls gave up trying to break above this red trend line, came this trend line and did not hold very much. Now 27,800 needs to hold. Let's see if bulls of Bitcoin can bounce back up towards this red trend line, or are we going to get the same price action we had over here since March 18 all the way to April 9. 3 weeks of sideways move. Are we going to get the same price action over here? Follow price, use levels and trend lines to manage risk. This is all we have to do as traders. The only thing we have full control of as traders is risk management. Nothing more, nothing less. Ethereum, white trend line, for now holding the higher lows. let's see if we can get a bounce back above the 1960 towards the 2040, or breaking down and under this level, this trend line, we are going to retest the 1890 and maybe all the way back to the 17. Oil breaking down and under this yellow trend line, going to fill this gap. As we said a few videos ago, this area of the 83, 84 area is a very tough resistance. Bulls gave up, and now price is going down under to close this gap. To go long, I would wait for this gap to get filled and a bounce back above the yellow trend line. Until then, nothing much on oil for me at least. Gold moving sideways, bouncing between this red trend line to the downside and the 2000. Overall, gold is in an uptrend until proven otherwise. XHB, the home builders ETF, we had our eyes on this ETF few days ago. Last week we said we will take long above the 68 area, and now 3 days to the upside. Let's see if the 69 can hold. Otherwise, we have a gap to the downside. We have also a gap over here, but for now, XHB uptrend until proven otherwise. AAPL struggling with the red trend line. This red trend line goes all the way back to January of 2022, and as you can see, each and every time price reach this area, it's getting rejected. And also now, in the past week or so, AAPL bulls is failing to break up above the 168 together with this red trend line. A doji inside candle, indecision in the market. Let's see where market will take us. Are we going to retest this white trend line and maybe breaking below it, and then we have all the Fibonacci levels to the downside to manage our risk? Or can we close the week above the 168? Let's see. Follow price, listen to price, because everything else follows price. All the indicators without any exceptions follow price. Let me know in the comment below, what do you think? Where AAPL is heading in the next week or so? To the downside towards the 158, or are we going to break up and above towards the 175? Let me know in the comments below. I would like to know what you think. Netflix closed the gap from yesterday's downside gap. Today went up, closed, went back down. 327 now from support to resistance, and let's see if we can get a bounce of this red trend line back up. If you are long on Netflix, manage your risk according to the levels of the downside. If you are not long on Netflix yet, I would wait for a break above the 336 or some kind of a bounce of this red trend line and back up. And of course, this is only my opinion. Everything you see and hear on my channel is for educational purposes only. Always do your own due diligence. If you want to be able to make your own due diligence, take your financial freedom in your own hands, stop following others, become your own indicator, check the links in the description below. 2 programs, live one-on-one program, mentorship, or the pre-recorded. Same program, pre-recorded. 6 hours, 49 lessons. Both programs, my promise to you: first, lifetime access for all Discord channels, lifetime access for support, guidance, until you will say, I don't need anyone else, I can do it by myself. Check the links, pave your own path to your own financial freedom, because it's your money. No one else will take care of your money except you. It's on you. Amazon 104, still very tough resistance. Doji closing below the 104. Now looks like this red trend line is going to get retested once again. Microsoft basically bouncing between the 282, 292 to the upside. For now, if you're not long or short on Microsoft, I would wait. Short below the 281 towards this gap and the 273 as first support. Long continuation above the 292. Google bounced off this trend line. Now we have some kind of a bounce continuation with 105 to the upside as resistance. It was resistance over here, support, now getting resistance. We have a gap to the upside on Google, and we know that more than 80% of all gaps will get filled. All we have to do is follow price, use levels and trend lines to manage risk. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is it. This is the fundamental of price action: in-depth candlestick analysis and the relationship with trend lines, gaps, and Fibonacci levels. Nothing more, nothing less. If you like what you see in this video, I would very much appreciate it if you just take 1 second, click the like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and share with friends. Help me grow this channel, will be much appreciated. Meta breaking below this yellow trend line. This yellow trend line goes all the way back to November 22 lows. Since then, it held the uptrend, now breaking below it and below the 216. Looks like Meta is going for some kind of retracement. First, closing this gap over here at the 201. Then, if the 197 will fail to hold, most probably this gap will also get filled at the 184. The big issue is this gap at the 153. Let me know in the comments below. Will Meta close this gap anytime soon? Let me know what do you think. NVDA, basically very tight price range between the 266 and the 280. This gap got filled. No open gaps to the upside for NVIDIA, but we do have this gap to the downside. If bulls will fail to hold the 260 or the 256 area as support, this gap will get filled, and the sooner the better, because NVIDIA is still in an uptrend. So even if NVIDIA will close this gap and make a bounce back to the upside, we are still in an uptrend. AMD, short-term downtrend, long time frame, the bigger time frame, this red trend line holds the higher lows. Now let's see continuation above, break above the 92 area together with this white trend line, and as you can see, all this area, the crossroads between trend lines and the Fibonacci level, is a very tough resistance, breaking up and above 96 and maybe back to 103. Shopify refusing to close this gap. Closing below the 48 is not a good sign for Shopify, because we might go and retest this blue trend line to the downside, and then we will look for a bounce. Same it did here, same as it did here, same as it did here. So we might get some kind of a pullback, retracement, and then we will look for the bounce and re-enter long position. If you found this video helpful, will be much appreciated if you just like, subscribe, share with friends. Don't forget to check the links in the description below for more educational resources. Until the next video, do good things.